Welcome everyone, my name is Daniel Gober, and today I want to share a short case that's going to illustrate why I love to use Osseoseal as my membrane of choice when it comes to buccal contour augmentation. Osseoseal is a resorbable collagen membrane, has a lot of great features to it, great handling characteristics, but in particular I want to illustrate its ability to adapt to the area that you're trying to regenerate, which is specifically relevant when you're trying to accomplish buccal contour augmentation. So let's get into the case. Here you have a patient who's missing multiple teeth in the upper right posterior. The treatment plan was to place an implant in 3 and an implant in site number 5. What I want to focus on in this presentation is really the deficient buccal contour that you could see illustrated here. It's more obvious when you look at it from an occlusal view. Here we've illustrated our buccal contour deficiency with our yellow line. Our blue line is telling us where it would be ideally, and we have to go ahead and perform a procedure to regenerate the area that's missing. So we go ahead and place our implants in sites 3 and 5. When you take a look at the implant place from a direct buccal view, it doesn't really appear like we need to do any kind of regeneration. But when we look at it from an occlusal view, it becomes very obvious why we need to go ahead and do this bone regeneration. Buccal contour augmentation simultaneous with implant placement has been documented in the literature for many years, spearheaded by Danny Boozer, specifically related to the concept of early implant placement. But we're going to go ahead and use the same idea and apply it to our case, taking freeze-dried bone allograft particulate and putting it over the buccal plate. We're going to make sure to build out our contour with the bone graft. And then I went ahead and I trimmed my Osseoseal collagen membrane and draped it over the bone graft and onto the adjacent bony margins. And what I want to point out here in particular is if you look at the membrane, you can see how well it's adapted to the surrounding bony margins. And you can really only do this with a membrane that's got good flexibility and good adaptability, because if you're using a stiff membrane, so it's just going to sit there and there's going to be a gap in between the margin of the membrane and the bone. So you want something that's going to adapt to your defect, and this is actually the perfect membrane for something like this. The flap is then adapted on top of the membrane and the regenerated area around the healing abutment, and you can see just from the immediate post-op the kind of contour that we were able to achieve. And 12 weeks later we come back and we see really nice soft tissue healing around the implant site, and the healing abutment, the peri-implant tissue, looks nice, full, thick, and healthy. And when we take a look at the occlusal view, you can really see how we were able to reestablish that contour that was so deficient before we began. And here's a quick reminder of what we started out with versus what we were able to achieve here from the buccal aspect. And here's a comparison from the occlusal view, where it becomes very obvious what we were able to achieve with our buccal contour augmentation procedure. Thanks so much. Any questions? Feel free to leave them in the comments section below.